Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Gridiron Reprobates live stream. Now, as always, this is an adult show aimed at a mature audience, so we might use coarse language and talk about mature themes.
Geno for MVP, motherfuckers.
That's the filthiest thing you've said throughout all these live streams. So we'll start the same place we always do. However, this week it's slightly more somber than it usually is because we need to talk about last week's Thursday night football game. And the whole game, unfortunately, was overshadowed by a complete and utter breakdown of the NFL's concussion protocols when a player who had a back injury managed to get another concussion. I'm not sure how that works, but at the end of the day, it is a complete and utter breakdown of player safety from everybody involved. What do we think, gentlemen, of the Tua incident?
I mean, it's the NFLPA just not doing their jobs, really. I mean, their whole purpose is to protect players and look after it. It's not just on them. There's a lot of people this is on.
I was going to say they are one of the many cogs in this failure machine.
There's the NFL itself. There's the doctor who okayed him to go back in the game the first time round. Some people have tried blaming McDaniels, and I'm just like, it's not really his fault. I think he came out and said that if he'd gone against the doctor for just an abstract reason, it would look ridiculous. I do kind of get his point there.
I think in the game, putting him back in the game, I don't think you can overrule the doctor in that situation because you'll have had.
That's what I'm saying. Is it
20 things to do as well? You can't be solely focused on that. So if the doctor's okayed it, then yeah, I'd do the same thing. I'd let the guy back in the game.
Okay, you said he's fine.
Yeah,
you're the medical professional, not me.
Having then, had some reflection time in the 3 days preceding the Thursday game, I think that's when we can put some blame on McDaniel for playing him again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The thing is, I mean, the brain is such a weird thing. Tua might have been fine for those 3 days and looked absolutely fine. And then the second he took a bad hit, that was it. It just got worse again, immediately. The brain is weird. It's not like other muscles and joints and stuff. I mean, it is a little bit because once you've injured something, it does need time to heal. So if he did have a concussion and you didn't give him the time to heal afterwards, he's going to re-injure it immediately. The only reason people can come back from ACL injuries and everything else is because they take time to heal and rehab and everything else. If you don't take that time, you don't get better. The brain is the same in that respect. If you don't give it the time to heal, it's taken a physical beating. It needs to heal and get better. If you then go back in and get another hit on it, the brain is sensitive enough that it's going to be much worse the second time round.
Yeah, secondary concussions are lethal. They do kill. It's not like re-rupturing your ACL, which
exactly. That just means you're going to walk with a limp.
Yeah, you're still alive, but you're
still not. You won't be dead.
Yeah. What do you think, Ryan?
What worries me is the NFL came out and said there was all these failures with the independent doctor not knowing his role, which I'm not sure is possible. When did the NFL find these failures out? Was it before the Thursday game?
It was after. He was fired after the Thursday game.
When did they find out?
I'm not sure we know when they found out.
Yeah,
the investigation is still ongoing.
Yeah, to fire him as quickly as that and have all these reasons.
You'd expect they sought something. Yeah.
Yeah, they must have known, with all the attention around it as well. It's just so bad. It's poor, and like I said, with secondary concussions being so dangerous, it worries me that if Tua was fine and that didn't happen on the Thursday night game, what would we be talking about right now? Because the situation originally would still be the same, where
Mhm.
there's all these failures by the independent doctor, looking for people to blame, and it's just been exploded because this has happened again. So it shouldn't have got to that situation. But if that injury didn't happen, would that doctor still be in a position where he's making those calls, not knowing what his role is supposedly? It's just interesting, and it'll be interesting to see when it all comes out, when the investigation comes out, to see when and who knew what at what time before putting them out in that field on Thursday.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the thing that needs to change now is the way that head injuries are treated by the NFL. Having an independent neurologist at the game is good. That should continue. And then when anybody is even suspected of having a serious head injury, they need to be continually monitored post game. One of the things that really troubled me is listening to some former players tell how to pass concussion tests, and none of them talked about a guy shining lights in their eyes or anything like that. And that's that's what St. John's Ambulance do, and to check if you've got a concussion or not. And they're hardly neurologists. They are wonderful people that do a great job, but
they're looking for
doctors,
very basic stuff.
Doctors, they are not, is what I'm trying to point out. And they do. It troubles me that the NFL people are not doing the basic stuff I've seen, first aiders do.
I think it was you that mentioned it, that you were saying that on the podcast that the checks are basically just asking a bunch of questions.
And that's what it seems like from what the former players have said. It's just asking questions, which is ludicrous,
rather than actual medical shit. Which is
just,
I mean, the NBA has a better protocol for dealing with concussion stuff than the NFL does, which is ridiculous because head injuries in basketball are much rarer by a massive degree. I mean, I've been hit in the head 3-4 times in the entire time I've played basketball, like bad enough for me to be like ow or bleeding or whatever. I've had a couple of black eyes and taken an arm across the face a couple of times, and it's been like bad. These guys are launching themselves headfirst at each other at 20 miles an hour with, and they're 250 something pounds. The physics of it just is going to cause way more head injuries. So how does the NBA, which is a much lower risk for stuff like that, have a better concussion protocol? I remember when Kevin Love went through it when he was with the Cavaliers. It was a few years ago, and it took like a couple of weeks for him to come back because he didn't pass the certain bits. They had, you've got to be able to do this, you've got to be able to do this, you've got to be able to do this. You can't have any feelings of nausea, you can't have this, you can't have this before you can come back and play. Whereas the NFL is just like, do you feel all right? Yeah.
Okay, what day of the week is it? Who's the president?
What day?
Oh, he's fine. Get him back in.
Exactly. It's always the cliche ones.
Who's currently leading the MVP race? Geno Smith. No, he's out. He's out.
Geno.
We'll come to Mr. Smith later.
Yeah. They need to change the policies on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad that it took something like this happening so publicly for it to be so apparent that they need to make a change.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have come to this point.
Agreed,
and I just hope Tua is all right. I just hope Tua can get back on the field at some point.
Yeah. As you say, he's all right. He's alive. He's as far as we know, he's not going to suffer any immediate long-term damage to his health. So hopefully the Dolphins allow him to recover and come back when he's ready to come back, if he wants to come back.
Yeah, I mean, from a football point of view, the one good thing the Dolphins do have in this situation, if they can't bring Tua back because he's not feeling right, is at least you've got one of the better backups in Teddy Bridgewater.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a case of there's going to be all this pressure on him to come back because the team should still do okay without him, so he won't feel that internal thing of I'm letting the team down by not being there, which could play on a guy's mind. I've been there when I've been playing and I've not been able to play games, and it's gotten me because I was like, oh, I'm not there, and I've played when I shouldn't have done because I've been hurt or whatever. It's good that they've at least got a decent backup, so that he probably still will feel that way, but he will feel less of that pressure to come back straight away. He'll want to, but it will be a less pressured situation for it. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. Let's hope the lessons are learned and we don't see anything like this again. Although I'm a cynic and I'm not confident. Fun. That was a great. So on the Bengals one, apparently.
It was a poor game. Other than that, as well, there wasn't really.
I stopped when I knew that Tua had been injured, but when I saw it, I turned it off. I stopped watching it.
Yeah,
because it was horrid.
Yeah,
it was poor. So yeah, not much to discuss in regards to the football.
No, so we'll just talk about the standings a little bit then. So, Phil and Ryan, you both picked the Dolphins, which I think when Tua was healthy might have been a safer bet. However, circumstances being what they were, Baz and I both picked the Bengals. So now there is a three-way tie at the top with Ryan, myself, and Baz, all with 3. But Phil is lagging behind because he wouldn't let his head rule his heart and picked the Steelers to beat the Browns in week 2. Yeah. I'm sure that won't bear any resemblance or bearing on the season as it comes along there, Phil. So don't worry.
It's all right. I did better on the predictions for the rest of the weekend, just not that one.
So let's talk about something a little more pleasant than what happened on Thursday, and that's what happened on Sunday in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The NFL returned to the UK in a game that didn't seem like it was going to be compelling for 3 quarters, and then became compelling in the 4th quarter. Fortunately, the correct team won, and the Saints had to limp back to Louisiana with another loss. But it was close there, and we got the famed Lundoink field goal kick at the end of the game to seal the win for the Vikings. So, what do we think about the London game, chaps?
I actually missed the 4th quarter. I was out, had to leave, so I must have missed the most exciting kind of part of it. Again, yeah, it was quality-wise. It seemed, from what I've seen, it was a pretty poor game. Football-wise, other than the kicking, which was obviously impressive. So, yeah, the Saints look poor, and the Vikings look like the Vikings, what they've been for the last few years. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter what they do. They either play really well, play really bad, or scrape. But there's no consistency in any performances. Again, I thought they were, once they started actually utilising Justin Jefferson, they started doing something. But again, it was quality-wise. Again, it wasn't the most compelling of games.
No, I mean, I only saw the second half because I was coming back from my parents when I got back just in time to watch most of the 3rd quarter and all the 4th. And by that point, it started to get a bit more exciting. So the game I saw, I was like, oh, they're going end to end. This is great. They're going back and forth and back. So I didn't get to see all the shit in the first half. But yeah, the Vikings, I think the Vikings are going to have this issue for as long as Kirk Cousins is their quarterback. He's good enough to get you into the wild card pretty much every year, or maybe even win you the division some years if Green Bay are really bad. But that's about as far as he can take you. And you're always going to have this sort of, it's not a full Jameis up and down, but it's this very sort of gentle up and down with Kirk Cousins. It's not a super high ceiling, but it's not a super low floor. It just sort of goes in between the two the whole way along, forever and ever, until you get a better quarterback. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl, but he'll get you to the playoffs.
It's almost like they need that sort of lightning in a bottle type season, almost like the Eagles had once they reached the playoffs. Something crazy to happen.
They need Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's what that was, right? That's what won the game.
I'll take Kirk Cousins over Nick Foles any day of the week.
They might need some new receivers at some point as well, the Vikings, because Justin Jefferson is brilliant. Adam Thielen is getting older.
I was going to say, what? What?
Bear with me. It's going to make sense. They're going to need other weapons, okay? Because Justin Jefferson, brilliant. Adam Thielen getting older. Dalvin Cook seems to be a little bit hit and miss this season.
Well, he can't stay on the field.
Yeah, he keeps getting hurt, which I mean, it's not uncommon for a running back because
Dalvin Cook.
Yeah. They're going to need some other weapons on offense, which is going to become expensive because Justin Jefferson is going to be very expensive to keep hold of because he is fantastic. So they're going to need to draft well the next couple of seasons if they want to continue to either stay at this level or get better.
Yeah. And the jury's still out on their GM. It's his first season, so he might be a draft wizard. We don't know. But I think you put it perfectly, Phil, when you said that Kirk Cousins will get you to the playoffs and no further. And until they address that, I don't think it's going to matter how much talent they surround Kirk Cousins with.
Yeah,
he'll just get you to the playoffs and no further.
He might win you that first wild card game if you get a Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
miracle.
If Marshawn Lattimore forgets to play cornerback for a split second against
just fell down. Just lie down. It's fine. No problem. Saints, however, are just shit. But scrappy.
I think, to be fair to
don't give up. They keep playing. They're just not very good.
To be fair to the Saints, their defense is still decent. It's still difficult to move the ball on. Their offense.
Yeah, they're scrappy.
It's not good when your offense looks worse without Jameis Winston.
The only positive I think the Saints, or one of the positives I can take, is Chris Olave looks really good.
Yes.
Yep.
He is the real deal and going to be a pain in the bum for years to come.
Yeah. We'll say I like Andy Dalton's facial hair. The beard was good. It looked sharp.
Good at reprobates with a NFL beard talk. Your number one spot for NFL beard discussion.
Yeah, it was good facial hair on Andy Dalton there.
Excellent.
He wasn't very good, but his beard was. So makes up a little bit.
The problem is, though, you can't utilize beard power as an NFL player unless it comes out of the bottom of the helmet, you see.
Yes, unless you go full Fitzmagic. It's not really...
Fitzmagic, or I can't remember that player for the from the Steelers a while back, the defensive lineman who had the beard coming out. If that happens, that's when you can utilize beard power as an NFL player.
Yes.
If it's contained within the face mask, you can't utilize beard power. So
you just look handsome on the sidelines, which
exactly right.
Which is where you really want Andy Dalton. You don't really want him on the field.
It's perfect for Andy Dalton.
Yeah, just look good over there, Andy. Good job. You stay there. Stay there. Don't you come on the field. No, we're done with that now.
It became a compelling game, which is more than could be said for this weekend's London game, where the unexpectedly 3-1 Giants will be playing a quarterback that wasn't on the roster last Sunday. I don't think. It might have been on the practice.
Webb?
Yes, but I think he was on the practice squad prior to Sunday's game. So he wasn't on the roster. And now he is, and he's going to face Aaron Rodgers, who actually Aaron Rodgers is not the problem in Green Bay. The problem in Green Bay is the people Aaron Rodgers has got to throw the ball to.
They have not been consistent, which we knew going forward. To be fair, we knew this at the start of the season. It was just like, you've done nothing for your wide receiver room, really. Yeah,
the Packers' defense isn't quite as good as it first thought it was going to be. They cannot
Yeah.
defend the run, which is where the Giants might actually have a chance.
Yes,
Because
they've got
Saquon Barkley has been outstanding this year.
Saquon was actually a half-decent quarterback as well. Which was
Yeah. How do you lose to a team who has to play a running back at quarterback? How?
At one point they had Daniel Jones out as a receiver.
Yes,
It's wobbling. It's just like, why? He knows that he can't play. This is not fooling anybody. But
You may as well-
they still
you may as well-
gained yards on that play.
You may as well play a DB at that point as a receiver, or an O
Yeah,
lineman.
I'm sure one of the quarterbacks would be like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah. Get one of your D tackles out there. He'd love it. So yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think this Sunday's game at is at Wembley. It's Wembley. This game I don't think it's going to be very good at all.
No.
Should be an easy win for the Packers.
Yeah.
Even with Daniel Jones starting, I would expect the Packers to have handled the Giants fairly easily.
Yeah.
And I think, to be fair to the Giants, I think Brian Daboll is going to be a good head coach. It's just
Yes.
it's clearly a rebuilding season. They'll come good in the end, but it's not going to be this season.
It's very difficult to polish a turd.
Yes. And they do have a shiny turd. Let's give them that.
Saquon is making a very shiny turd. His little diamond just had on top of the turd.
That's a cool. That's well. I'm naming the stream that. Saquon Barkley is a shiny turd. Awesome.
Oh shit! The Bears.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Dan.
Well-
you know this. I don't really need to apologise because he's very much embraced this.
The thing, right? Everybody thought that the 2021 NFL draft class had so many quarterback prospects you cannot miss. It's looking like only one of them is the quarterback prospect you can't miss, and then the next best one is Davis Mills.
Davis Mills is destined to be like one of those. I think he's going to end up being like one of those journeyman quarterbacks, like a
makes about 300 million in his career.
yeah, like a Colt
Matt
McCauley
Schaub or
yeah,
Charlie Whitehurst,
yes,
Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn, yeah.
yeah. That I think is Davis Mills' destiny. He's just going to be that solid backup you want behind your starter.
I think the Texans is a perfect place for him.
Yeah, it's a good place to sharpen those backup skills.
To be fair, Trevor Lawrence he might not be the next coming of Peyton Manning, but he has certainly proved himself to be a capable NFL quarterback. And the Jags look like they're probably going to win the AFC South, to be honest, because the Colts, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, are shite, and the Texans are shite, and the Titans are not as good as they used to be.
No. No, they're not. Ugh. That's not a good division. But the Jags are a good team.
Yes.
I will stick with that. They've been good. They had the Eagles for a little bit in that game until the Eagles just went, no, we're going to change this up. We're going to do this differently. And then the Jags were like, oh, shit. Because the Eagles are just that fucking good.
The Eagles are pretty damn good.
Yep.
I said it on the Gridiron Gentlemen's podcast that watching the Eagles offensive line move that Jags defensive line around was very, very pleasurable on the old eye. Let's put it that way.
Will found some O-line porn.
I did. It was great. I won't get myself too excited, otherwise I won't be able to concentrate on this here podcast. So we were talking about we're talking about the Bears, weren't we? Actually, before we got sidetracked by the Jags. I mean, it was always going to be a rebuilding season for the Bears, and I think that's what they wanted. They wanted to kind of strip it back down to the studs and start building again after the horrendous Matt Nagy years. But what? Oof.
You need some starting blocks when you're rebuilding.
Very well put.
And they don't have any.
Well, no, they have one, and he's put in a trade request.
Yeah. But yeah, they're shit.
I'm fairly convinced that the Bears are trying to. So a team is a house, right? You need solid foundations to go up. The Bears have tried to do is just build directly onto the waterlogged field in Chicago. From week one, it's like, this is what we're gonna. This is our foundation, dude. It's a lake. You can't build it. I go build my house on this lake. No, it's not how it works.
Have you seen the kind of Johnny Depp, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? And it's like that prince that builds a mansion made of chocolate, and then the sun comes out. In this case, it's the sun as the rest of the NFL. It just melts, and that's kind of what the Bears foundations are.
I mean, it's almost literally because the sun came out because they won in torrential rain.
Yeah. And then the sun came out.
And then the sun came out and
exposed them.
Oh,
the shit that they are.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what Justin Fields is. I still don't have a good idea. Is he good?
It's concerning when they're not letting him throw the ball. And the thing about him coming out of college was you wanted him to be, in a play action heavy passing game where he got to rip the ball down the field. And they're not letting him do it. Now, I don't even know who the offensive coordinator is at Chicago, but Matt Eberflus is not letting his quarterback be what I think he was supposed to be, which is a concern because I don't think Matt Eberflus is a terrible coach. He certainly knows how to coach a defense, so he should know what a quarterback looks like. Right?
You need hope, right? It's the one we're trying to hit. No, not our own one. No.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Bears. Dan, if you know what's going on with the Bears, leave us a comment in the old comment section, and we will consider your opinion. So let's talk a bit about how weird the current NFL season is. Before we start talking about the best quarterback in the NFL, let's talk about that's the fella. Let's talk about some teams who have no right to be as good as they are. We'll start off with one who, if they had a better defense, could be one of the best teams in the league, and that's the Detroit Lions.
Yes. Ah. Oh. They are like, if you don't know which game to watch and you don't want to watch a red zone, watch the Lions game because it'll be good. It'll be loads of points. The Lions offense is good fun to watch. Jared Goff is being good. He's been good, Jared, this year. But when Jared Goff is good, he's a top 10, maybe he's 10, but a top 10 quarterback when he's on his best form. Yeah.
The running game is superb. The offensive line plays really good.
Yeah.
The receivers are playing way above themselves, I think.
Yeah.
I think you stick some of those receivers on other teams. I don't think they play anywhere near as well as they're playing right now. And then the defense can't stop a toddler, it seems. I mean, if that pitch invader had been in the Lions game with the Lions defense on the field, he'd still be winning right now.
Oh yeah, the Lions defense is not good.
It really isn't.
If you put up 45 points and you still lose, I mean, I know it does happen, but usually against like an elite team, and Seahawks fan that I am aware we're not one of the elite teams. We're just decent and scrappy. That's about it. I mean, Geno is not a Patrick Mahomes. Geno is not an Aaron Rodgers where he's flinging the ball like no-look passes all over the shop and he's doing magical things. He's literally just dink, dump, run the ball, little pass here, little trip there. Yeah. He's doing nothing flashy and he's still kicking your defense's ass. What is your defense at that point? You knew what you had the scheme for. It's DK and Tyler Lockett, and Rashad Penny had a good game. That shouldn't equal 48 points. Not at the NFL level.
Do we think Aaron Glenn might lose his job?
Yeah.
I think if this continues all season, yeah. Because I think the Lions are the top scoring offense in the entire league, and they're 1-3. It's like
the Buccaneers under kind of early years Winston.
Yeah,
Mike Smith defense is just so bad. But Dan Campbell strikes me as the type of person that wouldn't be afraid just to fire someone quickly if it wasn't working.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get fired in the season, but if this continues, I think it'll be very difficult for him to keep his job.
Yeah,
going into next year,
he might not be coming back.
It is strange because he brought him. Dan Campbell brought Aaron Glenn with him from the Saints. And I think a lot of the staff came from the Saints. So you're thinking if they're trying to, one would assume to put in like a similar system. If that's what they know, then they kind of, through system alone at the Saints, that's it's successful. To be so bad, it's you're kind of wondering what the fuck's going on. Like, is it just purely quality in terms of the defensive side of the ball? But yeah,
I'm not sure it is, because they've not got no talent. Hutchinson might not be an elite pass rusher. I think he's more in the who's that guy for the Bengals? That isn't Hubbard. The other one. The other defensive end. The other defensive end who plays for the Bengals, he's not Hubbard.
Saints, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. But that guy.
Yeah.
A decent Hendrickson, that's it. Hendrickson. A decent but not elite pass rusher. I think that's kind of what Hutchinson is, which is fine. I mean, he'll be a starter for 10 years and he'll have a decent career.
Yeah.
That's talent. Rodrigo. I don't think Rodrigo is a bad player. I think it says a lot about the rest of that defensive linebacking core that a fourth-round rookie just comes in and starts bossing everybody around. And I think he's got the green dot as well, hasn't he, Rodrigo? Which means he's got the microphone set and stuff.
Yeah, so the one called.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the play caller.
I think so.
He's the rookie is the defensive play caller.
I think so.
We've got a Kuda as well.
Yeah.
Have the highlights this year, but then the team loses 48 points. You're like, willing to have some highlight plays, but
yeah. So
why is the fourth round rookie the defensive play caller? I'm still stuck on this point.
Oh, I'm saying it says a lot more about the rest of the team than it does about the fourth round rookie, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but they've got like I say, they've got some talent,
rookie, but not good for everyone else.
They're ranked. The defense is ranked 32nd. That
Is it?
surprises nobody, but they've not got the 30. I would argue that they've not got the 32nd ranked amount of talent on that defense.
No. So they're number one on offense, and they are dead last.
They are 7th in offense, but they're number one in scoring.
Number one scorer. So number one scoring team, but also the worst defense.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of that year the Chargers had when they had the number one ranked offense, the number one ranked defense, and they missed out on the playoffs.
That's just Chargers. The Chargers.
That is like the ultimate Charger season, yeah.
Chargers good Charger. We're really good. But you didn't make the playoffs. Yes, but we're really good.
Another team that had no right to be this entertaining is the Atlanta Falcons. And I think much like the Giants, that the Atlanta Falcons have found their coach, and I think Arthur Smith is really good because there is some talent. Again, they have talent. They have talented pass catchers, and they've got Cordell Patterson, who's more talented than he has any right to be, but they've not got a good offensive line. They've got an average quarterback, and yet they look really fun. They do some really fun things. They do some all sorts of interesting and exciting, like pulling run plays for Patterson. The pass game's really exciting. They can scheme people wide open all over the place, and they've got no right to be any fun, but they are.
Yeah, it's kind of going the way that we thought before the season, where they might not be as bad as what everyone was thinking.
Yeah.
But at the same time, still have that Falcons thing of can lose close games. But the only issue now is I think injuries might catch up on him because I think Patterson's on IR now. He's out for the next 4 games anyway.
Yeah.
Pitts looks to have an injury. He wasn't training today. But yeah, they look exciting. Mariota's playing really well. I like Jake London, looks really good as well. Another a good young receiver in the NFC South.
Mm.
Definitely a watchable team. And the difference there with compared to the Bears is you can see what the Falcons are trying to do, and they do have the talent to start building from, and the head coach to start building from. So not good news for Meanwhile on a supporting level, but yeah, they look really fun. Let's just hope they don't have too much fun on Sunday.
I'm not concerned about our offense's ability to score on them, but I do think they're gonna, and this might just be coming off the back of a 41-point shellacking, but I do think that they're going to cause us some trouble on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm still confident of the win because I think they won't be able to stop our offense. But yeah, it's going to be good. I'm more excited to watch the game against the Falcons than I was the game against the Chiefs because I was scared of the Chiefs.
Yeah, right from the kickoff, you kind of knew what type of game that would be.
the fumble on the kickoff, opening kickoff.
Yeah. 30 seconds, you're like, right, so that's the kind of primetime game it's going to be.
It's 1 a.m. You're like, oh, I'm staying up for this. Guess I'm staying up for this.
Yeah. They just kept close enough just to make you stay up.
No.
Not to, but yeah, the Chiefs just got onto the Bucks. The Bucks didn't really defend the run that well, which is kind of where our defense starts. So it'll be interesting to see Falcons, obviously a run-heavy team, see what they do without Patterson. But the Chiefs did something really, really smart and simple. Is when Vita Vea wasn't on the field, they ran the ball, and that is it. Jekyll looked really, really good running the ball.
He did, yeah.
And when Vita Vea was on the field, they passed it really quickly. So really, really basic, but really, really effective. And with Hicks out injured as well, it's kind of shown that we're missing Sue. And I would like to see Logan Hall in there a little bit more, because the limited time he's been in this season, and he got quite a lot of snaps against the Packers. He's looked reasonably good.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the way Patrick Mahomes was playing, it was always going to be tough on our defense to ask to stop them, especially when the Chiefs were gifted two incredibly short fields. I think it was tough. It was a tough day for our defense, and the Chiefs just made it even tougher because they're so damn good.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes wasn't having a bad Mahomes day; he was having a great Mahomes day. So it's one of those losses where you go, well, shit. Yeah. Never mind. On to the next one.
There was general consensus, if we could start 2-2 with that run of games, knowing our schedule going forward, be happy with that. But now the Falcons isn't such a, this is a good game to get started again, because they can cause us troubles as well. So
I'm definitely more annoyed by the Packers loss than I am about the Chiefs loss.
Yeah.
But yes. So anything else to say about the Falcons?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, Arthur Smith is showing a very good ability to get the most out of 40 hats, which is a very good sign for the Falcons going forward, because it means the more talent you add, hopefully, the better your team will get, which is exactly the right direction you want to be going. Mariota's looked rejuvenated, which is nice. It's always good to see a player getting back to himself a little bit. Drake London looks really good. They're just running a really nice, flowing offense that, seems to be schemed really well. They're fun. Like you were saying, they're fun to watch. Third team solidarity.
Arthur Smith did exactly the same way in Tennessee, though. He took the talent that was given to him and he made the team around that talent. So you've got Derrick Henry. So Arthur Smith goes, "I'll just build the team around Derrick Henry." Then I think he's doing the exact same thing in Atlanta. He's getting what he's getting in. He's building the team around what those players are. So
he's doing what a good coach should do, which is build with scheme around what you have rather than what you want.
Exactly. So they're going to be irritating, well, especially as we're going to tank in the next couple of seasons, I think. But anyway, that's next season. We're having fun with this season, and no one on this live stream is having more fun than one Phil Antropy and his Seattle Seahawks with the number one quarterback in the league, Geno Smith.
Yes.
We all had this in our predictions at the start of the season, though. Geno Smith for MVP. It was a consensus move by everybody, and it's come to fruition. We all thought this was going to happen, and here we are.
Oh, mate!
It must be cock a hoop.
Oh, it was hilarious. What the fuck is happening? This is brilliant. This is so much better. Literally, even if we don't win another game, I'm happy, because we have played so much better than I thought we were going to. He has been so much better than I thought he was going to be. I had so low levels of expectations. This is just, God, this is brilliant. And like I said earlier when we were talking about the Lions, it's just all that he's doing is keeping it very simple. He's not overcomplicating. He's not doing anything flashy. He's not arguing with the coach about what play they should run. He's like, okay, cool, we'll run that. Yeah, runs it, gets it done, get downfield, touchdown. Woohoo! It's looking remarkably simple. It's not flashy. It's not spectacular. I mean, DK Metcalf's catches are spectacular, but he's a freak of nature. What do you want? Where was this Geno for other teams?
Punching people's jaws out, apparently.
Getting fights with his teammates. It's like he's grown up or something. Who knows? Maybe a guy, as he got older, has matured. Who knows?
I think that's definitely part of it, and I think the other part of it is with that maturity, he kind of knows his limitations.
Yeah,
and he's just
he's not trying to do anything he can't.
Yeah, he's playing within himself, and and then the team are kind of scheming around that as well, and the team are playing to their strengths.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're going to be some 11, 12 team win team, but we could be 500 coming towards the end of the season. We could be about there. Maybe scrape a wild card spot. Maybe.
I was going to say, you could sneak in the NFC.
Yeah. Which is more than I was hoping for at the start of the season. Start of the season, we're going to be bottom of our division. We're going to be awful. We're just going to be tanking for some picks next year. This is so much better.
What do you think? What do you think, Ryan? What do you think about NFL MVP Geno Smith?
Yeah, just ultimate game managing. It's so effective. And they've got a bit of a running game going with Rashad Penny as well. It looks like as well, which also helps.
Yep.
Defense stinks, but
defense, schmefense.
when you
48 points a week.
You got Geno balling out like that. I'm just I'm just worried about the longevity of how long he can keep it up before kind of reverting to mean. Sorry to rain on your parade, Phil. But it's fun.
It's all right. You guys suck anyway.
Hopefully, it might change in Germany, and maybe a flight will take away his talents for the season. But
I think Brady might be depressed. He's not. This is the problem. This is the problem you're going to have. Is he's not angry anymore. He's just
sad.
I'm not sure. I've not seen sad Brady. Angry Brady worries me. I think you were saying this on the pod, Will. If you spit on him and kick him and punch him in the balls and whatever, that's a terrible idea. You've made him angry. He'll destroy you. But sad Brady, I've not seen. So I don't know whether to be scared of it or not.
But the good thing for the Seahawks is I'm just looking at their upcoming schedule, and they've got the Saints, the Cardinals,
Winnable.
Chargers, the Giants, the Cardinals again, ourselves in Germany, the Raiders, the Panthers, the Jets. There's a lot of teams right now where if you're looking at it, you would go, at this moment in time, the Seahawks could quite easily get a good few wins out of the rest of that schedule.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what happens.
I've got two more things to say about Alter Geno Smith. The first is what gets overlooked a lot is how well the two rookie tackles are playing for the Seahawks. They're really making his life easier because he's in a lot of nice, clean pockets.
We built an offensive line. That's
so
the
funny.
thing we've needed for so long. We got rid of
And he went to a team with line. He went to another team without an offensive line, and now he looks terrible.
It looks so bad. Oh, the Broncos suck.
You're loving that as well. This is just like the perfect season for you, isn't it, Phil?
This is going. I'm having a great time. Broncos suck after they stole our quarterback. The Seahawks are playing brilliantly with Geno Smith for some reason.
But yeah, those two are making Geno's life a lot easier. And the second thing is, if you're like a Colts fan or a Commanders fan or anybody else who gave away significant trade assets to acquire terrible quarterbacks, you must be feeling sick watching Geno Smith march the Seahawks up and down the field.
I am finally glad we didn't get Baker.
Oh my god!
I was campaigning so hard for Baker all summer long, and I'm sitting again.
I don't think Baker Mayfield is.
I was wrong. I'm sorry.
I don't think Baker Mayfield is a very good quarterback, but I also think there are not many quarterbacks you could put on that Carolina team, and they would. I think there's like maybe three quarterbacks could go into that team and actually make them a winner.
And only just.
Yeah, and they'd be winning 8 or 9 games at most.
Yes.
But one of the things that it shows, and you see it every year, and it seems like the Eagles and stuff showing it as well. Like, if you can you don't get to as a quarterback, you don't get to the NFL without having some talent. If you build a good line in front of someone with talent even an ounce of it, where they have an extra second than they would behind a really shit line, they can look really, really good. Yet teams every year ignore their offensive and their defensive lines when that's what wins you games in the NFL. And it's so obvious, but teams just ignore it year on year. It's mad. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You'll get no argument from me, Ryan.
I mean, you only have to look at. I mean, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Nick Foles. He's all right. He's a game manager. But what did he have in front of him? A great offensive line. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with the Broncos basically with only one working leg and he couldn't move his head.
That's because the weight of his head, though.
it's all up here. It's out disproportionately balanced.
But again, because he had a half decent offensive line, so at least they could get some points on the board.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at teams that just with no offensive line, but have got great quarterbacks. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You're getting destroyed.
It's a simple game. Yeah. You stop pressure, and then you stop pressure to your quarterback. You get pressure on the other. It's a simple game boiled down to that, but far too many teams ignore it to get the flashy player.
Yeah.
What they think constitutes as a good NFL roster.
Raiders.
Yeah, they went and got Devontae Adams. It's great.
Yeah.
Who's protecting your quarterback? What?
Devontae Adams.
But we've got Devontae Adams. It's fine.
He's playing left tackle now.
Yeah. Fuck it. Yeah.
We've got anything else before we start talking about Thursday tonight, this very evening? We've got anything else we'd like to chat about from the previous week's games, chaps?
I think you said you wanted to do something about talking about the run game being.
Oh yes, I did. Thank you for reminding me, Phil. So, yeah, one of the kind of fallouts from all these defenses playing a lot more too high, lots of defensive back systems is we're starting to see the run game become more and more important. Lots of teams, some of them through necessity, like the Cowboys or the Giants and their Wildcat quarterback, are running the ball a lot. But it's not just them who need to, because they haven't got the pieces up front to quarterbacks to chuck it all over the yard. There are teams like the Kansas City Chiefs are running the ball a hell of a lot more. The Bills are trying to run the ball a lot more and are failing, but there were the Eagles, the Titans. This always happens. I've got a good point, and then all you've got to do is fill in the blanks, and I can't think of names of folk, but so many teams are running the ball really, really effectively, and I think it is because defenses have adapted to the trends of the previous few seasons, where Mahomes and Josh Allen and Herbert and Brady and whoever the cheeseheads have playing for them, throwing the ball all over the shop, and have changed what they're doing to stop it. And so offensive coordinators have got wise and are now running the ball a lot effectively. So we're having a lot of 150-yard plus games from a lot of teams. And it's interesting how it all goes swings and roundabouts. And I wonder if more running backs are going to get taken in next year's draft because of this. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it would just be. It's interesting with the trends right throughout the NFL where it goes, and I think good teams take what the defense gives them. If it's working, you go with it until it doesn't, and you figure out why it's not anymore. But yeah, I like being a running team, and I think the Chiefs looked really good, for example, the other night. What annoys me, and that sometimes if other teams will be looking at this going, "Oh, we want to start running the ball," is and again, this is going to be very Bucks heavy, is we are set up, our whole offense is set up to pass the ball, but Byron Leftwich has an obsession with, every team's going to expect us to pass the ball, let's run it, and then 2-yard loss, first down, and it's like, we need to pass now, and teams are getting wise to that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, good teams take what they're given, and because of those trends, that's why the good teams like the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills are trying it with the talent they have, is they can run the ball effectively, and if it's working, why not? I love a running team as well. I can't help it. I love a defensive running team. So it's fun. It's fun to watch. And the Chiefs were really enjoyable. Their running game was very inventive the other night as well, which is good. It's good to watch.
What do you think, Phil?
So yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of reasons for it. One, sports is, on a whole, the trends tend to be a little bit cyclical. So it'll go from one to the other to one to the other, one to the other. Like you were saying, because the defenses adapt to it. So you're like, okay, well like they've got more people deep now because there are people who can throw the crazy passes and everything else. So let's run the ball because they're not expecting us to do that as much. Also, I think the schemes and everything have got more varied. So the run game is less about just giving it to some muscled hamster basically to charge through.
Doug might has not been in the league for a long time.
So not still at the Raiders?
Exactly, you must be there. You're not just giving it to someone like that to just barrel their way through every time. You're seeing wide receivers come off for handoffs. You're seeing all kinds of interesting and different ways. You're seeing a lot more quarterback runs as well because the quarterbacks are more dual threat. So the run game has become a more varied weapon than it probably used to be. So I think it's a combination of those two. The fact that sports is a bit of a cycle, so it'll go from passing to running because the nature of the way the defense is always playing catch up a little bit. And then I think it's just because there are more. You can do more with more players, and people are less worried about, he's a wide receiver, so we don't want him rushing the ball and stuff like that. It seems a bit more fluid. So you're probably seeing more rushing because of those things.
What would worry me is with the trend of running backs now, especially kind of more recent years coming out of the draft, there seems to be a lot of the trend has seemed to be pass catching as a running back is a big deal now. If that starts moving away from that, and you need a pure runner that can hit the holes when they come, you need to have the talent to do that. You can't just put anyone in there. You need to have, and it sounds stupid, but a good running back as opposed to just
a small wide receiver.
So I'm not sure if you would then find, if more teams start to run, the ones that can, it's purely because of the talent of the running backs they have, which is why you're looking at the rushers for the season, and it is the ones where you go, elite talent at running back: Barkley, Chubb, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. They're all, Christian McCaffrey. They're all in the top 15. If more teams start running the ball without that talent, they might find it's not going to be effective for them.
Yeah.
It goes back to that thing where you're talking about Arthur Smith putting his team in scheming for what he has talent-wise. It would be worrying if you're trying to follow the league, you're playing against too high defense, and you're trying to run the ball when, one, maybe your offensive line is poor at running the ball, and two, you could have someone like, I don't know, first name that comes like a serviceable running back, or could be like DJ Dallas with the Seahawks. You're not going to have an effective running game out of that. So you would need to start getting and scouting for more elite, pure running back talent, as opposed to the more kind of pass catching trend that there's been in recent years.
Yeah, I think I think a lot can be said for having that sort of like two-headed monster type thing in the backfield. So you sort of have you have your big burly one who powers through big, the holes, and then you have one who's more of a maybe bounce to the outside, but also get little screen passes. Can also operate as a sort of catcher,
like
as well.
Jones and Dillon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Green Bay running back situation is kind of what you want. You've got those two guys who do a little bit of slightly different stuff. That's ideal, and I think you'll probably see more of that going forward rather than it just being one bell cow back.
That's what I really liked about the Chiefs running game from the other night as well. Because Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he cannot catch a ball. The man has.
Well, you say that.
He's got stones for hands.
One pass.
But
Derrick Henry's got stone hands as well, actually.
But there was also that fourth down swing pass where there was no one near him, and I was like, "Oh no! Oh, that's fine. He's dropped it. Never mind."
That's just like the ball just like bounced out. But yeah, I feel like the Chiefs in that case would just start running with him and Pacheco and pass the ball to players that can catch it.
Yeah.
If that's going to start being the trend going.
Yeah. Interesting to see how this trend continues throughout the season. So let's talk about tonight's NFL game, and I have dubbed it the Lasagna Bowl, as we've got two terrible horse-based teams. What do we think? What do we think, folks, about Broncos versus Colts?
In my notes, I have written one word: boredom. I'm not staying up for this one. I'm telling you that now.
Oh no!
No.
No. We've got an offense with a good quarterback that isn't firing for whatever reason. We saw some signs of life out of it last Sunday, but not much. And then we've got another offense which looks just woeful and somehow isn't getting the most out of having one of the best running backs in the league. So the passing isn't working. Matt Ryan's not passing well. He's not playing well. But you still got Jonathan Taylor. So surely you could do something with... No, still can't do anything with that either.
Sure, but
it's like they seem to think it's almost like a double bluff where we're so bad at passing, defenses will think we'll finally try run it with Jonathan Taylor, but here's where we get them. We're going to pass again.
It's like the Blackadder goes forth thing when he says, "What are we going to? We're going to stop shooting our guns and slowly walk towards the enemy." But sir, we've tried it 17 times before and it failed. Of course, they wouldn't expect us to do that again, would they?
It's exactly like that. And Matt Ryan, and it was after the Athletic show spoke about it, and it was one point, and he puts everything behind his pass at the weekend, almost to the point where it was like his arm was coming off with the ball, and it just went. It was just dead. It's just going to be a blur game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting the feeling that Matt Ryan may have been part of the problem in Atlanta last year. It wasn't just the fact that the offensive line was utter shite.
Yeah, and you certainly called it, Ryan. You certainly called it. Who have we got winning this game then?
Do we need
no one would.
Well, the Broncos actually have a defense, so I'm going to pick them.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what I've done as well here. The Broncos have got the better defense, so yeah, them. They will be the horse that makes it out of this slaughterhouse alive.
You're both going Broncos.
Yes.
I'll go the Roos then. I'll go Colts just because it's such a toss-up game.
Oh, if the Colts win this, then Nathaniel Hackett's seat has just gained about another 100 degrees of heat.
I think this is Melvin Gordon now. Is he?
Yes.
He's number one now.
Yeah, the guy Williams
that's
is
guaranteed
out.
3 fumbles. So hopefully one of them's close enough to get a field goal for the Colts somewhere.
6-3 win to the Colts.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hackett trying an 80-yard field goal to tie it at the end or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's such a it's such a toss-up, a poor game. I thought Tom Brady in his presser today was asked if he's seen a lot of football this year, and he said he'd seen a lot of shit football, and I don't know if he was specifically talking about the Buccaneers or like league wide. It's because he's just been watching Thursday night games. But yeah, it's another one to chalk down to just blah. Yeah, so I'll go Colts purely because it's just one of those games you wake up, you see, oh, Colts won it by 2, and it was a shit game. I feel like it could just potentially be that.
Yep. Hard agree. So let's wrap it up. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me for another excellent live stream. If you are watching this live stream back in the future, then please leave us a comment. We will, if they're good, we'll talk about them. If they're not good, we'll probably talk about them as well. So leave us a comment.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. It's been fun, and I'll see you next week.
All right. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.